Tuesday, April 27th. So the moon is going to be in Scorpio all day. We're still feeling the full moon energy effects. What's going to make things even more intense today is that the moon makes 10 very powerful aspects with other planetary bodies throughout the day. The most notable that I would like to talk about first and foremost is the moon making an opposition with Uranus. So Uranus is in Taurus, was a key player in this full moon energy transformation. Uranus is the great awakener. He is acting as the observer from the highest point in the cosmos, downloading us with a new perspective, with new information in our psyche in order for us to see a new revelation, a new perspective take form, where the transformation actually needs to take place. Then the moon squares Saturn, again, a crisis point, a tension point. With Saturn, this is life lessons. This is maturing and bossing up, leveling up through the tough love life lessons that we have had to really go through and experience for ourselves. This Saturn energy wants to show us where it is that we feel blocked, where it is that we feel restricted. Why? Because of all the rules and the responsibility and the rules that go along with it. Saturn wants to hold you back. And this transformation is wanting to push you forward. The moon is opposite Venus and Mercury as well. Again, we have to understand that all of this Tauran energy, this Tauran stellium taking place with the sun and Venus and Mercury and Uranus is sitting across from its natural opposition, which is Scorpio. That moon very much still in Scorpio waters. And so the moon is conflicting with Venus and Mercury. This is the inner dialogue that we've had since the beginning of the week, showing us where it is that we need to step back, emotionally detached, to see where it is we need to reevaluate some things. The conversation's getting pretty deep. It's getting pretty intense. And then we don't know what to do. We're overwhelmed. We want to escape. Why is that? Because the moon trines Neptune. Neptune is in Pisces. Pisces is a water sign, a sister sign to Scorpio. So they start blending their energies together, working together. Neptune's like, hey, we can concentrate all we want on our physical realities. We can take a good look and ground ourselves so firmly in our physical bodies that, nothing's going to sway us. But at the same time, we can only pull so much information from our exterior realms. We have to rely on our intuition. We have to rely on the greater, grander cosmos to download us with insight, to download us with bits of information, to pull us in the right direction. And that's what Neptune and Pisces is going to do. But it is going to make us a little bit spacey. Why? Because we want to detach from our physical form, which the sun and Mercury and Venus and Uranus is very, very rooted in the physical form at this time. And we want to escape inside of ourselves. We need to reconnect to our spirit, to our soul, to our higher self. And from that, we are going to be able to kind of, mull over everything that's going on and get a little glimpse of what it is that we need to do because we're listening to our intuition. The biggest thing that I want to talk about here today is the fact that Pluto, the ruler of the full moon in Scorpio, Pluto, the god of transformation, is going retrograde. So if you've been listening to me, you would have known that April was our last hurrah. April, we had all planets in a direct position, and now we are going to enter into retrograde season. The major heavy hitting planets, first Pluto, then Saturn, then Jupiter, they're all going to go retrograde. And they're all going to be retrograde until fall-ish. And any planet, when it goes retrograde, is an inner transformation, an inner working, an inner healing that we have to do. And Pluto is about death, destruction. Why? Because we need a clean slate in order to resurrect ourselves and rebirth ourselves. So again, I'm going to recommend that you go ahead and listen to the rant that I go on in April's energy forecast about what Pluto's retrograde is actually going to do to us over the summer months. But just to summarize, this is an inner transformation of taking our power back. This is about identifying the shadow parts of ourselves that are keeping us in a holding pattern and realizing that anything that is not aligned with our current vibration and with the vibration that we're trying to ascend to, anything that is not aligned will be totally destroyed. And it might not feel good. It's probably not going to feel good, but it is absolutely necessary, because most of us don't make those serious transformation and serious changes unless we're backed into a corner and we endure such pain and suffering that we cannot stay in that place anymore, and therefore we open up to change. So on top of all of that just loveliness, the sun is making an aspect with Neptune, which is really going to highlight our intensity with the new psychic abilities coming through. We're in Taurus season. Taurus season aligns with the Pleiadians, with the star groups out in the cosmos that offer us new information. We have lots of portal activations taking place. We have a lot of solar flares taking place, a lot of cosmic blasts taking place. If you haven't been following me on social media and seeing my post about the Schumann Resonance, like, we definitely need to pay attention to that. That is off the charts. This is why the ascension symptoms are so intense lately. This is the indicator that the Great Awakening is happening. We are just in the beginning stages of it. So this is why there is a little bit of chaos and a whole lot of intensity. Mercury will also be making an aspect with Mars. Again, Mars fresh into Cancer, hypersensitive. Right? We are very triggered by anything that challenges us, threatens us, puts us in a position to protect or defend our thoughts, our feelings, our family members. There's a high level of drama. We are being forced to go with the flow, and that is an uncomfortable position for Mars to be in. And Mercury is in Taurus, trying to ground our thoughts, give us deliberate ways of thinking logically and practically. And Mars is over here in Cancer, just going through every emotion within an hour. So there's going to be an inner conversation here that is likely going to be conflicting and is likely going to trigger a lot of anger and agitation within us, especially seeing how we're still under the full moon intensity of needing to transform and listening to the higher octave of self, of our intuition, of source, in order to download the path forward. So it is going to be very intense, especially with Pluto going retrograde, even though it is an outer planet and a very subtle energy that we won't realize until we do get settled into it. It is a major shift. And we do have to have a couple of days of adjustment before we're going to have a clear path forward on what it is that we're actually doing here. Because like I said, all the energy is being stirred up. This is a mixing pot this week. We are highly sensitive, very intense, very serious, very much looking for the change. Although most of us don't even know what that change is as of yet.